In the four Gospels, it talks about there being a second coming of the Son of Man. And while we don't know when that's going to happen, we don't know the specific day or hour, there are signs that are given to us to know when this time is drawing near. And a couple of those signs are hearing of wars, seeing wars carried out, nations rising against nations, famine, pestilences, persecution amongst family members. But the one I wanted to focus on specifically in this video was signs of false prophets and false prophecy. In Matthew 24, verse 11, it says, "Many false prophets will arise and deceive many, lead many astray." And so the overarching message of this video is to be cautious of who you're watching and what you're believing to be true. And so I wanted to bring up how when I started my walk with God, which coincided really when I started creating these videos, I was listening and watching a lot of prophetic words. And as I drew closer to God, as my relationship strengthened with Him, I was able to be more aware of what I was taking in and what I was listening to. And so I think the key in that is that as you grow closer to God, you're given discernment and you're able to distinguish what's the truth and what's false, what's not to be listened to, what you shouldn't be listening to. And so on top of that, you shouldn't replace these prophetic words. And I say prophetic words in air quotes because this is a sign. There are many who will rise and say that they're prophets and say that this is a word from God and God wanted me to tell you this, when in reality you don't know their true intentions behind what they're saying. You don't even know their intentions might be good, but what they may be saying might not have come from God. It might have just come from them and they're just speaking their mind. And so it's really important to not replace these prophetic words, things that people are saying, with actually reading the Bible, because that can then, yes, lead you astray. And so you don't know with 100% certainty that what they're saying is coming from God. What you do know with 100% certainty is that God's word is the truth. The more you're in it, the more wisdom you gain, the more discernment you receive. And so that's why it's really important to not solely rely on prophetic words, things that you're watching on YouTube, to receive what God is trying to say to you. And I think a lot of the times, there are many people who are struggling with hearing God's voice. But the way to start that is by reading His word, and to not solely, again, rely on things that people are telling you on Instagram, TikTok, on YouTube even. And what I've noticed is that there have been a lot of prophetic words ever since, and I'm talking recently, a lot of prophetic words recently in and amongst, the videos that come up on my feed, and I've watched less and less of them as I've gotten closer and closer to God. And so again, the key to discernment is reading God's word, gaining that wisdom. That's what Proverbs is all about. When you seek God, you gain wisdom, and you gain the discernment that He is gifting you. And so that was really the message of this video, is to be cautious of what you're taking in to be true. Focus on God. Even in videos where they say, take it to the Lord, it's more about really just speaking to the Lord first and foremost, starting your day with speaking with Him, ending your day with speaking with Him. Even if you hear a prophetic word and it sounds like something that you might be going through, yes, take it back to Him. But at the end of the day, don't rely on that. Don't depend on that's something that's going to happen in my life. Continue to read your word, continue to stay in the word, because when you do that, God will eventually speak to you, because you know what He sounds like through His word. He gave us this word, His word, so that we can know wisdom and know his discernment. Thank you, and God bless.